Hi, everybody, again. I missed last week because I had some weird plague that made me cough and sneeze and gave me a fever, and I had to catch up over last weekend, so I didn't get to do a video blog. Bummer. But I'm back. And this week, I'd like to talk a little bit about the terms that you hear, some publishing vocabulary. Because somebody asked me if I would talk about it, so I will. Excuse me. See, a little bit sick still. So I was going to do note cards and put up the words, but I don't seem to have any note cards. Not prepared. So I wrote a list. See? Wrote my little list of things that I'm going to talk about, things that just came into my head that people who are new to publishing may not understand when they hear people talking about it. So, here we go. The first thing you're going to probably hear a lot of is a query letter. What's a query letter? A query letter is a letter, obviously, and nowadays it's mostly an email, that you send to an editor or an agent, and basically you're pitching them your story. You're telling them what's great about your story, you're telling them what your story's about, and you're asking them if they would like to see it to decide whether they want to publish it or if they want to represent you. Publishing tip. If you're sending a query letter to a publisher, do not start out the letter by saying, I'm sending you this letter to see if you'd like to represent my work or something like that. Because it means either you, A, have no idea who you're sending it to, B, have no idea who does what in publishing, or C, you have a generic query letter that you send to everybody en masse and you didn't bother looking it over before you send it to this editor, which is never a good plan. Not at all. So, it's like an auto reject in a lot of places. The same thing is if you send a query letter to an agent, please don't start it out by saying, my name is so-and-so and I'd like to see, I'm inquiring to see if you'd like to publish my work. Because the agent's like, you have no idea what you're doing, or you didn't take the time to write me a nice letter, so goodbye. So that's the first thing. Query letter. Manuscript. Manuscript is your story in written form. It's not a book until they publish it and put it in a binding or, put it into a story, whatever, an ebook form. It's a manuscript. It's splitting hairs, really, but if somebody says, send me the first 3 chapters of your manuscript, you know what they're talking about. It's like a little easy thing. Submission. Submission is whatever you send to the agent or editor to get them to look at your work. We'll talk about that another day. That's a whole thing about getting your submission package together. Just know that if they're asking you for a query letter in 3 chapters, query letter in the whole thing, just a query letter, that's a submission. You are officially a submission. Aren't you lucky? Imprint. Somebody asked me what an imprint was, and I'm going to try to see if I can explain this without botching it too badly. If I get it wrong, please tell me. An imprint is like a smaller division of a bigger publisher. See if I can understand. Like the Penguin Group. Big publisher, Penguin Publishing. And they have a lot of smaller little publishers underneath of them. And all those smaller little publishers are called imprints. Some smaller publishers have specific, like their imprints are all very niche and very focused, very targeted on the genre that they publish. For example, my latest books are with Zumeya Publishing. Now, Zumeya Publishing is the publisher, but the books are under the Threshold imprint, which is their children's and young adult books. Simon & Schuster has Simon Pulse, which is a sort of hip, trendy, young adult line, contemporary line, and it's an imprint of Simon & Schuster. So that's what an imprint is. Very cut and dry like that. Very simply. 3, editor. You need to know what an editor is. Editor is the person who is going to make your life a living Hades when they tell you everything that's wrong with your book. No, I'm kidding. Well, they will, but they're going to do it out of love, because they want to see your book be the best they are. So when you get your editor, that's the person that you're going to work with, and she's going to say, well, maybe this would work like this, or I think this character would not say that, or this chapter's not working for me, rewrite it, or all this other stuff that they're going to mark up with blue pencil and send it back to you, and you're going to wonder why they contracted your book in the first place. That's the editor's job. Agent is the person who is sort of your representative with the bigger publishers. You get an agent. They agree to represent you. You don't just go out and look one up in the phone book and hire one like a cleaning lady. An agent has to agree to represent your work, and that means that they've looked at your work and they feel that they can sell your work. That's the big thing. That's the biggest thing. Is it good, and can I sell it? And so they are your representative with the publishers. That's an agent. And let me see, 3 terms you're going to hear that I really think you need to know. We're going to talk a little bit longer about this than we did on the others. Vanity publisher, self-publisher, commercial publisher. They kind of get tossed around a lot, and I think a lot of people get them confused. Here's the thing. Commercial publisher, and I don't care what size it is, big one, small one, middle one, tiny one, gigantic one, whatever it is. A commercial publisher is a publisher that takes submissions from authors, decides which ones they are going to publish, and then publishes them. And they pay for everything. They pay for cover design, they pay the editor, they pay the fees for the ISBN number, they put the book on Amazon, they make the catalogs, they sell the book. If they're asking you for money to help with any of that, they are not a commercial publisher. End of story. End of story. There's such a thing called a subsidy publisher. They say, well, we're asking you to give us money to help us promote your book. No, not like that. Yog always says, Yog's first law, Google it, is money always flows to the author. So there you go. A commercial publisher publishes your book, and you get paid by them. They have bought your book, bought the rights to publish it, and they pay you royalties. That's it. End of story. A vanity publisher is a place that you can take your book to. They don't reject it. They don't accept it. They just say, or they may send you a letter that says, we're going to accept it, but guess what? They're going to accept everybody that walks in the door, because here's the catch. They're going to publish your book, and you have to pay for it. You have to pay for the printing. You have to pay for the editing. You have to pay for the cover design. You have to pay. That is a vanity publisher. It means that you've published because you think your book is so great, and well, vanity is implied. It's a negative connotation, and it may be the right choice for certain kinds of books. Poetry, cookbooks, charity books. If you're selling a cookbook for the women's club, you want to use a vanity publisher because you're not looking to make money in the general population. You have a specific, that book has a specific design. So there you go. Self-publisher. Self-publisher is not an independent publisher. Self-publisher is not a micropress. Self-publisher is a self-publisher. An indie press is a small commercial publisher. A micropress is a small commercial publisher. A self-publisher means that you, right there, you, take your book, your manuscript rather, and you do all the work yourself. From soup to nuts, quite literally. You either edit it yourself, which not a good plan. You hire an editor then. You're going to pay for the editor. And the editor is going to help you whip the book into publishable shape. Then you're going to find a cover artist, and you're going to work with a cover artist, and you're going to pay the cover artist. Then you're going to format the book. And if you can't format it yourself, guess what? You're going to pay someone to format the book. And then you're going to find a printer, and you're going to pay the printer to print every copy of your book. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. You have the success of Amanda Hocking. You have the success of Christopher Paolini, both of whom are now with commercial publishers. So did it work for them? It kind of did, but they put in a lot of, and Amanda Hocking will tell you right up front, she put in a great deal of time, she put in a great deal of money, she put in a lot of effort to make that book sell millions of copies. And she seems to be very happy having a commercial publisher do all that for her, where she can actually, write more books. That's the problem with self-publishing. It takes a lot of time, and to do it right, it takes a lot of money. So you have to decide whether or not you have the time or money to deal with it. Well, I'm having a bad hair day. Sorry, just like looking at that, it's creeping me out. All right, so there you go. That's a self-publisher. That's what a self-publishing outfit really is. There's another whole aspect to this. There are publishers out there who call themselves commercial publishers who do kind of everything that commercial publishers do, but their main goal is to sell the book back to you, the author. And some people call them author mills. Some people call them reverse vanity. Look out for them, because they're going to look like a commercial publisher, and they're going to give you an acceptance letter, and they're going to tell you all this great stuff, and then they're going to start sending you emails asking you to buy your own books. So the number one rule of being an author, the business side of being an author, or writing even, is do your homework. Do it. That's all I really have to say about that today. That's Truth About Publishing for another week. I think that next week, I don't know, I have a couple of the little topics floating around in my head, and I'll come up with something for next week. Until then, lovelies, bye-bye.